everybody, welcome to the stream. We were supposed to go live on Christmas Day, but I fell ill as usual. Also, here's my co-host, Arch Colin. Colin, how's your Christmas been?
Christmas? Welcome to 20. Oh, I think I'm in the middle of a war zone. No, it's people setting more bloody fireworks off.
Oh my God, they still love their fireworks, don't they?
Well, yeah, I mean, last night it was, well, you expect it on a couple of 3 nights. You expect it on New Year's night, although I must admit that's a relatively new thing. Fireworks are a relatively new thing for New Year's as well. But living where I live sort of slightly elevated and quite a good view and quite a good, unfortunately, quite a good hearing as well. Fireworks carry a long way.
Well, shall we bring on our 2 guests?
Why not?
Okay.
Yes, we have guests.
Yes, we have guests tonight. We have got Jim the Viking making his grand return after being on the sea for such a long time. Hello, Jim.
Yes, everybody. I have a comment there about what you said. It's a relative new thing, Colin, regards to fireworks. It's been around for quite some time, but I think it's been changes happening, so to speak, that makes it more prevalent in certain areas rather than, like you said, keeping it confined to New Year's Eve. But for me, my entire life, it's always been fireworks on New Year's Eve. Although it seems much more industrialized, especially where I was last night. Well, at home last night. The fireworks were on for about 5 minutes, and that was it. There was nothing else.
And also, we've got our other guest, Sadaku. Welcome.
Happy New Year, guys. I must say it's raining cats and dogs here, so no fireworks tonight. I don't think there were fireworks last night, as we hit midnight, but they've stopped now, which is a relief.
Like 4th of July, wasn't it?
Well, I had some on and off throughout the evening, but then because it's now raining here a lot yesterday, but then it sat about sort of 11:30, 11:45. It started going off a little bit, and then it died. It died down, so can't really complain.
Around here, it was like a bloody war zone going on.
Well, overall, we made it to 2024.
Yep.
Despite 2023 being just all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, Darren. Hey, Grandma Miranda. It's good to see you guys in the chat. But
the chat guys and girls.
My 2023 wasn't really the
Hey, Miranda.
Hey, Miranda. Hey, Darren.
But I did manage to get quite a lot for my Turtles collection. Still hunting for for something extra to my Ming and Flash, or Flash and Ming, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Because I would definitely want Brian Blessed's character. Keep forgetting what his chieftain name is, but one of the bird people would definitely complete that collection. But in terms of the turtle one,
Voltan or something.
Yeah, Voltan. Yeah, that must have been it. But in terms of the turtle collection, in terms of the turtle collection, I managed to have the 4 turtles, Splinter, Shredder.
Mm-hmm.
I have Casey, and I also have April O'Neil and 3 foot soldiers now. So it's kind of a decent collection on that one.
You could build a diorama out of that.
It would be quite a huge one.
Oh, yes.
Of course, the important thing is what you really need to do is if you've got all those turtles, you need to give each one of the turtles a candle. Then you'll have a 2-1 sketch.
Hey, Wendy. Wendy's here.
Hey, Wendy.
I hope you guys are feeling better. I know you are feeling somewhat under the bug earlier on.
Well, anyway, tonight I am going to be finishing off a Lego model, and also I'll be bringing it to life. So I've got the Lego cam here. So if we'll just carry on talking, as usual. But if I just bring up the Lego cam for a second.
Right. I hope you complete it soon because time is of the essence.
And there we go. Yes, I've got a DeLorean.
I want one.
I want one.
I want one too, but I'm really happy I didn't get mine from the Big Chieftain Studios because they had a really nice collection set there. But
I want a real one. I want a real one so I can go back in time and switch off the Large Hadron Collider before everything went nuts.
Yeah. The problem is I'm trying to get the sodding thing in focus at them.
Yeah.
This is the problem when you got the focus really out of whack. So you can see my hand.
May want to double check so that you had the autofocus on because it doesn't look like it changes.
I haven't got an autofocus on this camera, I'm afraid.
You might have in the software though.
Was it in focus before? When you showed us before, it seemed to be in focus.
Yeah.
Also, if you don't have autofocus on it, you should have a ring or.
There we go. There we go.
It should be in focus when you move it. Okay. It's in focus now.
Yeah, to move it off screen.
You got to catch it.
That is looking amazing.
Oh yes, especially when I do this underneath, because the wheels actually, fold in.
Nice hover conversion.
Oh yes. So, right, what I'm going to do, we're all just going to have a chat while I'm going to carry on building as usual, because I've got the instructions next to me, so we just get on with it, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And, hey, we've got a comment. Cheers, glad to be coming out there on the other side of this bug. Excellent model, Alex. Thank you very much, Wendy. And I'm glad you are feeling a lot better, both of you.
Here we go.
It's a good start of the year.
Oh yes. Well, I was supposed to be building this at Christmas. So. But don't mind me.
Missing the bonnet. Is it? What else is it missing? I thought it was only the bonnet that was missing.
Well, there's other things. Look at all these pieces. Because bag 11, you can have different, different configurations in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not just it's not just this. You've got also you can have Back to the Future 1 or Back to the Future 2 or Back to the Future 3, depending what type.
Does it have the railway wheels as well then?
No, you've got to get them from a separate. Really, if they had the railway wheels, then you have to have the train, and how much of a bigger scale that has to be for this.
That's true.
I see. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and also, I haven't got the land to place the bridge down or anything. With the DeLorean to shoot off. If anyone remembers that Back to the Future 3.
Oh yeah. In fact, during lockdown, 2020, they briefly lifted lockdown and the cinemas had nothing. Oh, hi Kelly Lynch.
Hey Kelly.
Kelly Nish.
Welcome to come and join us if you want.
Happy New Year, Kelly.
Happy New Year.
Hey.
During when they briefly lifted lockdown, they didn't have anything at the cinema new to show. So they were re-showing a lot of old stuff. They were re-showing The Empire Strikes Back. And our local Cineworld was re-showing the Back to the Future trilogy.
Nice.
So I went to see that. Actually, I think of the three, I enjoyed seeing Back to the Future 3 the most. Like, I used to love watching Back to the Future 2, but I think I've watched it kind of so much that it's a bit I can't but thank
you. See the episode of Big Bang Theory when they're trying to explain the Back to the Future timeline. You got this, you got
okay.
You got this what the like go back and forth and that
and I believe originally in Back to the Future 2, like there were test screen audiences that reacted badly to quite a bit of it. First of all, there was the bit where in the original cut, when old Biff like arrives back, and he's like he wounds himself on his own cane,
Mm-hmm.
and he kind of collapses. In the cut, he's supposed to vanish and disappear, and it's not quite clear why he vanishes and disappears, and that's why. So test screen audiences said, "Well, we didn't quite get that," so they changed that so he doesn't vanish; he just collapses.
Oh, okay.
Now, apparently, the actual bit where the Doc gets out that blackboard and he draws the timeline and just draws, apparently that was insisted on by test screen audience. Apparently, that wasn't in the original test screen audience. They didn't get it. Just like that was added in. Say, look, you've got to explain it, break it down to the audience what happened. And so yeah, it's they've had to explain it quite a lot. I love those films though. They're just so timeless, aren't they?
Oh yes.
It does. It really feels.
Because the thing is that.
Well, I'm assuming it's fireworks. I know the revolution hasn't broken out, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm hearing bang, bang, bang in the background on your mic, Colin.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to bring up. Sorry.
Okay, a lot of it's actually the other way, the other side from at the back, because I can see reflections in the windows of the block of flats opposite me. So obviously they're coming from sort of behind me rather than from in front. So which is why the sound's echoing a little bit as well.
Happy New Year.
Hey, Matthew.
I don't want to be prudish, and I don't want to stop people enjoying the fireworks so much. But for God's sake, do you have to have one so bloody many all the time?
Well, they've got to get their money's worth.
Yeah.
I think there was quite a bit of swearing in the Alien film, wasn't there? Like there was the famous "Get away from her, you bitch," and
that's what
I've not seen Alien.
It wasn't when the swearing happened in the films. It was more for emphasis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got to share something with you guys. Speaking about Alien, just give me a second, because I've got to bring this up. Disney, which I can't believe they're actually doing this. And when I showed Colin, you didn't really get it, did you?
If it's Disney, I'll believe it unless it's good.
Okay. That's fine the file because I found it. Right. I'm not joking about this. I just bring it up on share screen. How the heffing hell is that going to work?
Nah, that's it'll never work. It's just that cannot be real. That can't be real.
It's real. It is real. They're actually doing it. Disney to launch kids' book adaptation of British Got Alien.
A reading book.
Oh no. Then Bishop went and he's encountered the alien and his guts were ripped out. Happy, and they all lived happy ever after, children.
Yeah.
Until they landed on that, crashed on that prison planet, and Newt died.
I was watching. You saying that? I was watching yesterday. Someone did a. In fact, I'm not sure I finished it. Someone had done about a 50-minute video, which was the entire timeline of the Alien universe. And they included some of the they got the Predator movies and the rest were referred to, and that they bring them in. But I hadn't really. Apparently, I only really remember the original Alien, the original. Well, I vaguely remember Alien 3. I remember Alien Resurrection more. But I think I've seen Prometheus, and I've seen most of them, but I've not been that bothered by them. But apparently, one of the bases is actually on the moon that they visit in the first Prometheus movie. Is on the moon, and apparently Yeah, apparently. The first basis he's on all, unless the guy misspoke, because the other thing is apparently there's some of the colonies and that are all in the same system, which I hadn't realised.
Yeah. D is for death. Yes.
Yeah, probably.
And A is for and K is for kill me.
Kill me.
And Sadaku, what
G
is
is for
B
game
for?
over.
Yeah. Sadaku, what is B for?
Is that the coordinates of the land, isn't it? Oh no,
No.
the bishop.
Bishop,
No.
probably.
No, Colin said it earlier.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Queen bitch. Yeah. What about M? M is for mostly.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
M is mostly for.
Oddly, the word mostly is the one that I always remember to these films. So every time someone do a speech, say at work and whatnot, and that word comes up, it's like, oh, aliens. And it's aliens with the plus, with the S at the end. You want alien.
Oh.
When you just win.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Oh, I missed it.
No,
There we go.
not on that one, yeah. It's for Fisney, as in duck Fisney.
Oh God! A kid's book relating to aliens. What's next? Predator on Sesame Street.
Don't ask. Don't give them ideas.
Cannibal Holocaust, maybe.
Oh.
What else? What else is something really? Oh, Hostel. Yeah, Hostel. A is for amputation. B is for blowtorch. C is for
We won't go any further. Yeah.
R is for red light district. H is for hose.
Yeah, there's which type of hose? Oh, I know. It was
the ones that...
No, I was going to say, you remember we had this discussion ages ago with on Arwin, and of course, being me,
yes.
When you're talking about hose, I'm saying, yeah, leggings, hose, trousers,
gardening
leggings,
tools.
Yeah, or gardening tools.
Number two.
Yeah, do you remember that bit in House Party where kid got into that fight with those bullies because they called his mum a hoe kind of thing, and they were called into the headmistress Mrs. Office, and she said, you should not resort to violence. I know that you feel so bad that your mother died, but you cannot resort to violence every time someone says something bad about her. And why did you compare his mother to a gardening tool? That's what these. Yeah.
You just can't make it up, can you? You seriously can't make it up.
No, let her O's with the house name.
Montrepose.
No, that was a 4-candle sketch as well, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Oh, O's. What? How much? No, not O's. O's. Letter O's.
O's to the gate.
Yeah.
Got any peas?
I need to check that script that Miranda mentioned, and I would love to check that out actually. Like Alien 3 was a development hell film, wasn't it? I think
yes,
it was David Fincher's first film, wasn't it, as director? And he said, "I want my name taken off this." He said, he really did not like the film.
There's an Audible original of the Alien 3 script. The only problem is they couldn't get. They had to change it because they couldn't get Sigourney Weaver, but they have got Michael Biehn and Lance Henriksen. Okay. It's been out for a while, but it's been out. But yeah, as I said, it's a much better storyline. They had to adapt it.
Does Newt still die in it or not?
She's not in it either. I don't. No. So it's set. I find right. It's set on a space station.
Mhm.
It's mainly new characters, but no, they I said because they couldn't get Sigourney Weaver, she's written out. She's not in it at all.
Okay.
They've been separated somehow. I was watching, interesting, seeing Miranda's comment there. I was actually watching someone again earlier on today. Someone done a video about films that inspired Warhammer 40k, and Alien was one of them. As she said, if you imagine, if you're familiar with the Warhammer universe, take the Nostromo and change it into a Space Hulk. Because it was, I've seen Arch. I still want to call him Arch Warhammer, but I'm not allowed to anymore because Games Workshop are a bunch of. We won't go into that. He's doing a. I've not seen much of it because I'm not necessarily into these games, but he's doing a playthrough of the online game, of the Road Trader game.
Right, the bonnet's on.
Because I think the original version of Warhammer was Road Trader, which then became Warhammer 40k 2 or 3 reprints as Games Workshop got their got everything settled in, decided where they're going to go with it.
And the good news about that is that Henry Cavill will be starring in it, because the thing is, it's been greenlit now.
It has, yeah, absolutely right, indeed. Hopefully, we'll actually get a good one. I mean, the interesting thing is going to be who's it going to be.
Here we go. Bonnet is now on.
Oh, nice. That's better. Yeah.
Right. Where's the sodding stickers?
I've got boxes and boxes of lead. Yes, I'm that old. Computer models, some of which old Space Marines, come way back to the old Space Wombles. My favourites, the Mark 6 Space Wombles. And I think got Road Traders and
Space Wombles.
Yeah. They've got that. They're technically called the Mark 6 Corvus helmets,
right?
And oddly enough, Corvus, the Raven Guard, are one of my favourite units.
Yeah,
I don't know why that might be, but they're literally they are. If you're, in fact, I'll actually run big, but they're called Space Wombles for a reason. If you actually bring up a picture of them, because because of the most of them. I don't know, how familiar are you with 40k?
Not particularly. No.
Okay, no, that's okay. That's fine. It's not a problem. In that case, it's the helmets. Most of the helmets, Space Marines. They got Space Marines from. If you want, never mind your 20 minutes of history. You really need a buzz for Archer for Colin Quotes Heinlein. Really
right. Okay. All right. That's going to be done.
Because that's where they got them from. They got Space Marines. They got power armor. They got from Heinlein.
Yes, I want to see that. I really want to see that. Space Wombles, voiced by Bernard Cribbins. But the thing is,
someone needs to do it. Oh yes, someone needs to do an AI Bernard Cribbins with a space with talking over the Space Wombles. I'm just seeing if I can actually. Where am I now? I am. No, that one.
It won't be underground, overground, wobbling free. It'll be something completely different.
Well, actually, if you do it for the Raven Guard are the sneaky buggers.
Mm-hmm.
The Raven Guard, their Primarch is Corvus Corax. The Raven Guard look like vampires because they've got white skin, black hair.
Yeah.
But they are the sneaky buggers. They're the ones that you don't see coming.
Okay.
So they literally would go underground and then go overground. Hold on, let's see.
I want a Space Womble action figure now. Hey, Dad Man. Thank you for having me on your stream yesterday.
Yeah, happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year.
When it comes to 40K and video games, because I've been checking the chat and listening in here now, for me, it's always the gameplay on most of the video games that are coming out or have been coming out in the last 10, maybe 15 years. You will have amazing intros. You will have amazing visual, like cinematics and everything. But when you get into the gameplay, it's unfortunately just really clunky. And it seems to come in one of two modes. Either it's turn-based and it's just shoot, kill, shoot, kill, shoot, kill. And the first person kind of things, they're literally full-on onslaught. You jump right into the battle, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always been fascinated by 40K.
I don't know how clear that is when it comes up. That's a Mark 6, and I don't know how clear that is when we get up there. But
looks
you
really
can
good
see
on this end.
Yeah,
but
I don't know if you can see the beak head. I don't know how clear that is on them. I can see it when it's that small, but what I might have. No, because most Space Marines, the way they do it, they've got various because this thing covers 10, 20,000 years of history and so on and so forth. They've got various that sounds interesting, Miranda. They've got various versions of armor. It goes back and back and back and back and back and back and forth. That's why it's called the Mark 6. Most of them have got much flatter helmets, much flatter faces. But the core was, but you can see why they're called Space Wombles.
Colin, can you stop talking about Space Wombles? I really want to see a Space Womble.
Well, let's put it this way. I can show you Space Smurf.
No.
Technically they're Ultra Smurfs, but they're still Space. Space Poodles and Ultra Smurfs. Space Poodles and Space Wolves and Ultra Smurfs being the Ultramarines. Bungo in battle, yeah. Unfortunately, there are no female Space Marines, so Madame Chalet can't be a Space Womble.
Yes, she can. She can be Ripley, for Christ's sake.
I'm sorry, no, I just dread to think that the Wombles, because of course the other thing about Space Marines is that they are enhanced humans. The thing is, Games Workshop they've got, until they went money hungry. Games Workshop have Warhammer 40, Warhammer in general, Warhammer 40K is the space setting. Warhammer is Warhammer Fantasy. Warhammer without the 40K is also known as Warhammer Fantasy, and that is fantasy. But that is set on a world set technically within this 40K universe. But what they've done is they've done a really clever. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Madame Chalet, System of Battle. Yes, I like that. But what they did is they had a very clever people doing these things, and they've started. And the way it starts out where you've got 20 legions, and there were 20 Primarchs. Basically, they're sons of the Emperor with different. I can't remember, but basically, there's 20 of these people. They're already genetically superior because the emperor has been around literally forever. He's literally an immortal. But and his sons are genetically superior, enhanced, and all. And basically, each of those ends up taking over or being this what they call a gene seed for a legion. Two of the legions have been I remember when Games Workshop was it's exactly that. Do you remember? Sorry, you should pull me up on the track now.
Mm-hmm.
Back when you could buy White Dwarf. White Dwarf is their magazine, right? Nowadays, it is an advert of a Citadel Miniatures. Citadel Miniatures being the company, the arm of Games Workshop that makes the figures. Back in the day, you could actually get a White Dwarf. I've got them 6 feet away from me, some of them. You could actually get a White Dwarf magazine. And in that magazine, you would have a role-playing scenario. And you would have that same role-playing scenario for Dungeons and Dragons, RuneQuest, maybe some. I don't know if they did Tunnels and Trolls, or maybe some, but they do. Yeah. Flood the Barbarian with his magic, +6 loincloth, because I know I can see it. I can tell that. The argument for that being, and it's great. Someone's got a sense of humor. Flood the Barbarian was basically Conan the Barbarian, right? Literally, but the Conan the Barbarian, thick muscles, head half the size of normal, right?
Yep.
Went around, blood, typical blood, but he only ever wore a loincloth. And when they actually did statistics for their characters like that, the White Dwarf was the titular character of the magazine. I remember they came out and they said that the White Dwarf, that he had a +6 loincloth. How else you explain the fact that he never gets injured because all he ever wears is his loincloth? But what they actually did, what White Dwarf actually did, which was really clever, back when they were a hobby game, not just a money making machine, when they were a hobby company, they came up with this idea, and then they had this idea of you've got 20 legions, hundreds of thousands in the legion, and then they what they did, they come up with, think of the whole, they come up with a whole thing in the history where basically they broke the legions. The legions, half the legions rebelled, became the traitor legions, and the whole sort of. But what they said is, in universe they broke up the legions, so there were now, instead of 20 legions, which are hundreds of thousands of units of soldiers strong, there are an unknown. Excellent. There's an unknown number of chapters, and a chapter can only have 1,000 Space Marines, Battle Brothers. They go through generations of them, families. But what this means, of course, is that players can play any of the established ones. They can play the Ultramarines or Space Marines or Blood Angels or Dark or whatever. Any of the ones that are descendants from the originals. But what they can also do, they can have their pink Marines. Nothing wrong with pink. There's a very reason that the SAS Land Rovers made by Tammy were called Pink Panthers. Because pink is really, they're named for that. But the reason they're pink is that sandy pink is a very, very good desert color. But the idea is that you can do that. Yeah, I know. I remember that.
Imagine that, the SAS turning up in a Barbie mobile.
Imagine a Pink Panther, Ken the SAS soldier. Ken joins the SAS.
That'll be a Barbie movie to remember. Won't it be who dares Barbie wins, really?
Who dares Barbie? Yeah.
Starring Martin Short. No, I've got his name now. That's Ken.
Bom. Ken, Louis Collins, Ken. But what they did, if I could try and bring myself back to some sanity.
Yeah.
So the idea was that you could that a player, as long as you followed the rules for the units, you could create your own. It's echoing again, isn't it?
Yeah.
You could create your own chapter. I mean, I've got the ones that I did. I had were that's annoying. Called the brain swords. Basically, it was that they were special. Basically, what it was is the Dark Angels was one of the major chapters of Stroke Legions, and their symbol was literally. You might get somebody where they got this impression. It was quite literally a pair of wings with a sword right through it, or a dagger right through it. Yeah. So what I did, I turned them upside down, so it was a sword got sticking up through a brain. But you could do that. You could actually make your own. You could have your own units. So as long as they follow the units, you could have your own units. Yeah, it was. That was a really clever. I mean, it was a really clever marketing thing. Is that you could do that, and you could literally go and do any as long as you follow the rules. They probably keep changing the rules, which was a really clever idea. So you could literally have your own units. Being a military model, of course, I remember at one point I had things like I would have a Predator, the basic general Space Marine tank, and my Space Marine tank would end up with having a machine gun mounted along the main barrel, and all sorts of things.
Predator meets Barbie. No.
Now that's all because you're not echoing. No, I'm not now.
Hello.
But it was. You could do that. I mean, you really could. It would as a system. It's no wonder it's so popular, because as a system, until they started going corporate money grabbing and unfortunately getting some not so and starting complaining about all sorts of things. It was really good. It was a great idea. You could do it. It worked really well. I haven't made all. As I said, I mean, I've got so much lead up. Boxes. Lead. The figures used to be lead or pewter or plastic, or most of them. You get some will be plastic on sprues and the rest of it, and a lot of them would actually be lead or pewter. But you'd also have the body would be lead. But all the bits and pieces, the arms, weapons, a lot of that would actually be plastic. So you actually glued them. Whereas nowadays, I'm not sure that I don't know if they even make pewter models anymore. I know a lot of the stuff is plastic, which makes me wonder how the hell it's so fucking expensive. And I see the price of some of the box sets and the rest of it. It's all plastic. But it's a very
that's a spare part.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's now a very expensive hobby. Says the guy who does medieval enactment for hobby. Yeah, right.
Oh God. Yeah, your reenactment lot have got their own channel now, haven't they, Colin?
Yeah. We started it just before.
Just put the link up in the stream if you like.
I'll have to go and try and find it then.
It's out there somewhere.
Yeah. Actually, means going to YouTube and things like this as well. Oh, my back now.
Oh, your back. What's wrong with your back?
I'm sitting a bit odd. Movement.
One day we are going to get you on cam, Colin.
Break the internet when you do that. Break the camera.
Anyway,
Hey.
Jim Sadaku, anything for you to say as Colin's had his rant?
Yeah, it's just
no, Steve,
40k to take its run and then go through things I saw in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm still kind of figuring out what to do with my YouTube channel. I've done some new videos on there. I've started to get a bit of an idea where my channel might be going, where I could probably take it. I think I'm kind of developing a bit of a voice for YouTube now.
Oh, good. Yeah, you've done a couple of things, haven't you?
Sorry?
I say I know you've put a couple of things up now, haven't you? About your review, your thoughts on a couple of Doctor Who things, if I remember right.
Yeah, it's I've done like a while ago. I did a video about called Doctor Who Explaining the Apathy, in which I tried to kind of talk about the politics of the show and the politics of the fandom and why it is that like this was before the Tennant specials happened, and it was about kind of trying to explain why I think it is that people aren't hopeful about Russell and why the Jodie Whittaker era demoralized them. Then I did one on I did a brief one on the Davros thing, Davros in the Christmas the Children Need special. And that was just my thoughts, but it blew up quite a lot. Like, a lot of people kind of commented, say, I really like this video. This is really good. And my last video was this 2-parter I did on, which is basically after the specials, the Tennant specials, kind of saying, look, the ratings aren't very good. And I kind of did a long ramble about why I think that is. But I kind of interspersed it with a few clips from 30 Years in the TARDIS, and it ended up being kind of, it was like it almost kind of developed into a theme about how long can Doctor Who last as a show, and why has it been popular? Why is it kind of lost? Has it lost its kind of popular touch, and how does it get it back, kind of thing?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, there's. So as usual, flipping to the YouTube version of this, it's about 10 minutes behind. I'll have to try and. What's your channel called?
Mine, it's Sadako 24. It's
It is Sadako. I couldn't remember. So I was going to. I'll stick a thing in chat there for it. There you go.
Cool.
You want? I've got so many subs to go down, and of course, things that don't have many on them.
Bloody hell, Colin.
What?
Okay, I'll give you tell you what. I'll pass you the channel link, and you can put it in the chat because I'm.
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so here we go. You've got.
Right, that's me.
you even got the hook.
Yes. And if I want to put it on the front, which can't be asked, there you go. So I've got so many bits and pieces, but it doesn't end there because I built these guys first. You have to. I've got Marty.
You gotta come back with me.
And Doc Brown. Unfortunately, they're a bit too small for the car.
All right.
Well, they're not Lego figures.
Jennifer.
Yeah, the Lego figure.
Can't forget Jennifer.
Oh,
you can't forget Jennifer.
Missing Einstein and all.
She's run off with Biff.
Oh yeah. Oh, that hoe.
Gee, Doc, you made a time machine out of the DeLorean?
The way I see it, if you got to build a time machine, might as well do it with some style.
Yeah. Problem is, I don't know where I'm going to bloody put the thing now.
Yeah.
So I've got so many leftovers.
1.21 gigawatts of lightning. Yeah.
I've got so many like bits and pieces and all this and that from it now. Oh yeah, so I can have it in any configuration I want. But however, I am keeping it in the configuration of Back to the Future 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just take these pieces and stick them in right back here. So you got Marty and Doc with it. Now, for anyone who's still tuning in at the moment, we are going to have a load of fun. So now you've got the
that's it. I'm
DeLorean.
out.
Right, bye, Colin. So now you've got it here.
Don't be such a square, Colin.
Yeah. So now you've got it here, right? It does look good, doesn't it?
Lovely.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Took me a second there to get it on the big screen, but
Oh yes, right. Well, put it back on the second screen now, please. We are going to bring it to life because I bought a light kit. So this is going to...
Oh, it's not part of the kit then, I see.
No, you have to buy it separate, unfortunately. And let me tell you something, there's a lot to go through to get this done. So let's see what we got in here, eh? A lot of wires. So just bear with me, just carry on chatting for the evening while I just try and put the wires together and everything. If I get an electric shock, you know why.
We did plenty of bearing with you last time when you were the panda.
That bloody panda. I'm going to murder that panda one of these days.
Moiderize it.
Upstaging little bastard it is.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, just carry on talking, guys.
I've also been thinking of doing a video on sliders because I finally got finished watching that lately.
Yeah.
I had to go on Amazon Prime to see it, and it's one of those shows that starts really good and then it kind of somehow it ends up losing its way. And apparently there's like a lot of backstory about what was going on behind the scenes with the executives that basically caused it to completely go off point as a show.
Yeah, only if I remember right.
Yeah.
I say if I remember right, I don't think any of the original cast survived to the end, did they? Oh no, or did
Rembrandt was the only one left.
Yeah.
Yeah. They killed off the professor midway through series 3, and Wade didn't return for series 4, so they just had this backstory, but they just explained that off camera the Cro-Mags took over Earth and she was taken to one of the breeding camps. It's like a really horrible way of writing her out. They never really brought her back. Actually, no, they did bring her back once, but it was like Sabrina Lloyd refused to come back, so they had to get this body double, and she just ends up with this head in a jar. And yeah, it's like she basically got written out in the nastiest way possible. And then Quinn and Colin, they end up just disappearing mid-slide, and they get replaced by this other guy. It's like in series 5.
Something.
Sorry,
it was basically the two of them together or something. Wasn't there something really weird like that?
Well, there's another there's another slider you see, and he ends up merging with the consciousness of Quinn, and so he ends up he's apparently his name is Mallory, so he's not Quinn, he's a completely different actor. And so he, like, at first it seems like he's got some of the memories of Quinn, and then it dissipates, but Quinn's just basically described as being lost in the slide tunnel. Same with Colin, they just vanish. I think it was just Jerry O'Connell just didn't. I think he got some film offer or something, he didn't want to return, so they just wrote him out, and it was a really lousy way they wrote him out. I think they just it's a shame, really.
Yeah, they do seem to have. Sometimes you have to think they've got no imagination of what they're going to actually do to write people out.
I think it was a last minute thing. It's like I think it was just a case of it was between seasons. They didn't really plan it in advance. That's the problem. I think if they had, maybe he would have got a good exit.
Yeah, I mean,
same
you get
with
people. Yeah, go on.
No, that's all.
It sounds like we rehearsed this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think they just didn't plan it. I think that's the problem. And I think at the end, like, didn't even plan whether they were going to end the show or carry it on. So they ended it on this cliffhanger. It was so kind of dissatisfying, so unsatisfying. It's like,
I mean, I absolutely detest cliffhanger endings to a series, to the point where I used to record the last episode of a show, skip to the end, and if it said to be continued, I just put the tape on the shelf till the series started again. Because, I'd had at the very least Space Above and Beyond, where they end the series on a cliffhanger, and the series gets cancelled. You know, I tend to think in some ways that actually no. If you end your show on a cliffhanger ending to make people come back, well, that doesn't show a great deal of faith in your show. You don't think people are going to come back for the show unless you give them a reason to come back for it. You know, in which case you go, well, hold on a second.
Yeah, people should want to come back because it's, because they like the experience of that season. They I mean, there's some cliffhanger and season cliffhangers I think are good. Like, I think the season cliffhanger, but best of both worlds, Star Trek Next Generation, I think, I mean, I wasn't there at the time, but I can imagine that must have been a brilliant season cliffhanger.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely, they are, but yeah, oh yeah, they definitely are. I mean, I'm not saying they're bad. It's just that for me personally, I hate the idea. I hate the very idea of them, because unless you can absolutely guarantee the show's going to come back again, which you can't always. Although, admitting, I mean, if a show's made it through to 3 seasons, it's probably going to get a 4th. Probably.
Oh, this is a tricky little bastard. I've never done this before.
Miranda says, I forgot all about Sliders. Love the first few series. I think the first series was great. The third series was good up until after the professor was killed off. I think it was really good up until then, and then it kind of they started to kind of just ape the movie of the week thing. Series 4 I thought was kind of better, and then Series 5 was just I think that was the weakest of all, really.
I mean, I know there was one of them. They ended up eventually. They sort of started having things carried over and crossing over from world to world, which kind of started. I think that's when it sort of started going down a wee bit. That if you've got, they could go open, then you get the Cro-Mags across half the universes or something.
Actually, I like the Cro-Mag arc. I think there was really great potential of that Cro-Mag arc. I think that was a brilliant idea. The problem is they didn't resolve it, and that's kind of what bugged me. It's like it was potentially a brilliant sci-fi arc, and I think they botched it in the end.
Yeah, they didn't seem to be able to decide exactly what they were going to do, how they were going to. That seems you get that happens a lot, unfortunately. I think where I think it gets, you get someone leaves halfway through or something, and they can't think of a way to either they can't think of a way, or they can't be bothered, or there's bad blood or for something, and they don't like, the actor gets sacked or something, and they end up not even bothering. They just write the character out. Prime example of that would be The Expanse. When one of the actors got into supposedly got into some accusations and things, as a result of which they fired the actor without waiting for any results, of course, as they do these days, and they just killed him off afterwards when one inserted still shot with GOG blood. Right. Because they wanted to get rid of the actor. Yeah. They didn't want to keep him.
Oh bloody hell! This is tricky.
It was, in Slider's case, I'd say it was bad blood. There was I think a lot of the cast just I know Sabrina Lloyd wasn't getting on with the actress who played Maggie, and so the producers just wrote her out. And I think it was a case of bad blood. I think even was it John Rhys Davies who plays Professor Arturo?
Yeah.
I think he came into the studio one day with this script he'd found for this brilliant idea of a parallel universe. He said, "Look, I think we really think we should do this script. This is a brilliant new idea for what we can do with this concept of parallel worlds." And he said, "Well, no, we're not interested in that. We're going to take notes from we're doing our researches right now," and they were basically watching Species. They were kind of taking notes of how they could do a story an episode that imitated that best. So I think that's when he realized that the show's kind of being run by Philistines.
Yeah, another good example of that is, of course, Terry Fowler in DS9. She wanted to do less episodes in the last season, and they said, "No, you do them all, or we kill you off." They killed her off. Okay. Admittedly, they killed her off at the end of the series rather than in between. Yeah. But there does seem to be they do seem to have problems sometimes when it comes to actually dealing with people leaving.
I mean, I must say, I never quite felt right how she was killed off. I did wonder why they killed her off.
Yeah.
And I do feel like Series 7 I feel like Series 6 was the best season, and it was all going well. And I think Series 7, it feels like it's almost like they come to the natural end of the show, and now they had to kind of just try to stall that end by the whole business with the Par Wraiths and killing off Dax and bringing in Ezri. I feel like Series 7 just wasn't as strong as Series 6. It felt like it was just a marking time season, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that does happen. I mean, I know it's again, a prime example of both of those things is Babylon 5, where the lead actor had to leave. He had issues, mental health issues, and he came to an agreement with the showrunner. There was no bad blood at all there. He felt we had to pull back, so they had to suddenly come up with a new character, a new lead character for season 2, then they get to season 4 and they're not sure they're going to get season 5 or not, so they rush everything they can in season 4. Then they get given season 5. So season 5 they've got is a combination of leftover storylines or story beats that they hadn't had time to fill out in season 4. And new stuff they had to write for season 5. So again, new a new second lead character, all sorts of things.
Yeah,
it can happen to any. It's just one of the problems or the risks, I suppose, of making serialized TV.
I mean, it feels like Moffat tried to do that, didn't he? He tried to kind of build this, this era-long mystery with the show, but I did feel after a while like maybe he didn't quite have a clue in the same way that, like J. Michael Straczynski, is it, who did Babylon 5? I think he did plan it down to a T. Like I think he had it all planned before he.
Oh, he did, yeah. I mean, that's one thing I would love to have seen, or love to see. I think maybe that's some is his act. Apparently, is his actual full thing right from the start? Because apparently, he was at a con somewhere during one of the early seasons, and someone came up to him and actually, basically, had worked out or come up with the story that he was going to tell, even though he hadn't thought. It was middle of season 1 or season 2 or something. And this person came up and had basically worked out or put together the clues exactly where he wanted to go, but he couldn't because he had he couldn't everything mainly because of a bit of studio interference and because of the loss of all the moving around of characters.
Yeah,
Wendy, when you've done, go on to do the TV movies. Then after I think it's the last of the movies rather than the shorts. Then go on to Crusade. Then, if you get the time, the Centauri Prime trilogy of books, Legion of Fleet of Fire, I think, and the Cycle trilogy by Peter David. And if you feel like it, the Technomages, because that's the universe where the books all fill in missing. That is Babylon 5. I think it's the only one which has got the old style Doctor Who version of books filling in the missing pieces, which you don't need for the story, but enhance it.
Nice. Bloody hell, this is difficult.
I like the Technomages when they were initially introduced. And who is it? Was it Veer?
Yeah.
That has to try and persuade them.
Yeah.
And poor Veer. I mean, he's a lovely character and everything. But they're basically just having fun with him, almost to a bullying level.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're the thing is that JMS came up with some really clever ideas for those things. I mean, you look at I think the problem we have with Crusade could have been a really good thing, except we got far too much echoing again, far too much interference from the studios. What's up, Alex?
All the pieces are falling off slowly.
I
got it. Right. Okay. This is a difficult bloody model, I tell you.
Yeah, Alex, I had the same trouble. Well, I still haven't completed it, but I had the Tower of Sauron, which is the not Lego one. But yeah, the pieces are starting to not stick together that well.
No, it's not sticking together. It's the wiring.
Yeah, but it's the same thing I had there. Most of it is built, but then you have to add the
flipping wheels falling off.
Yeah.
Look, the wheels come
Exactly
off.
that.
Marty, I told you to change the tire. Anyone enjoying this in the chat? Me trying to struggle.
I have to agree with Gwen here. It's there are so many characters, and I'm struggling to find a new TV show that I love as much, because Babylon 5 has tons of characters. Love them, hate them. What's Chekhov's character? No, is it Chekhov? Bester, yeah. Absolutely amazing, because you know him as that lovely character from Star Trek. And then he comes in here, sinister. Almost kind of an evil thing. And one thing that PJ hates is, I don't want to know the villains.
I was about to say exactly. Yeah, PJ's not here because even Morden is written with a reason. Even Morden is written. There are reasons why he does what he does.
I get the feeling that PJ's okay with the villains having a motivation, but not necessarily them becoming the sympathetic hero. It feels to him, it's like they're supposed to be the villain, not the sympathetic one. Like there's supposed to be a sense of justice of, well, look, they're there to be the villain, not the figure of pity, if you know what I mean.
That was. I believe that Miranda, that originally, from what I understand, in the original storyline, Yvonne, I can't remember her name, Counting Tomatoes character, the second, the woman who has the final word in
it's Ivanova.
No, not Ivanova. The second in command in The Gathering, the first one, Counting Tomato. Her character, you remember, she's the one that Originally, she was supposed to stay on, and Ivanova would have been under her. And then it would have been discovered that she, not Ivanova, that she was the psycho agent. And then Ivanova would have become second in command. That would have been when Ivanova got promoted. It was one of the original things that obviously never came out because the actress didn't continue. But I mean, there was a few years. Well, it must have been years ago now, because this is what, the 1990s, Babylon 5. There was a quiz show here in the UK, hosted by an American comedian called Greg Proops. It was called Space Cadets, I think.
Oh yeah.
Basically, it was a quiz show, but it was a science fiction based quiz show, and all the things were science fiction. And
Craig Charles was one of the team captains.
And I think the other team captain was Claudia Christian. I think, because I know there was one episode where Claudia Christian was on one team and Walter Koenig was on the other team.
Yeah.
And not once, every single time they talked to Walter Koenig about anything, it was about Chekhov. Not once did they mention, if I remember, I remember that not once did they mention Bester, despite the fact he got Claudia Christian on the other team. Yeah, Matthew, there were so many changes made for various reasons. Mainly, I think, because of cast changes.
It goes to show sometimes on these quiz shows and everything, and I haven't seen one in donkeys now, but take Jeopardy and other shows like that. You can tell that the researchers may have just gone a quick Wikipedia. Here's like your $1,000 prize-winning question, or not question. Here's the answer. What's the question? And you can tell that. Really? Have you even watched one episode? And this was back in the 90s, when these shows were big. And I'll go on a quick sideline there. We had in Scandinavia a show for kids about quizzes and everything, and it was "Are you smarter than a fifth grader?"
Oh, started over here. Are you smarter than a 10-year-old? We started that.
Yeah, you probably did, but this one was more very hyper specific on a single topic, and I was actually genuinely curious about applying, because I loved the
just shocking him.
I was going to say Roger Rabbit, but it's Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and all of that, because they had a guy called Mel with 1,000 voices or something.
Mel Blanc.
And not sure if it was that, but back in the 30s and 40s, he was literally the one voice actor.
Hey!
Nice.
Really nice there. But he was
that was Mel Blanc.
There were no other voice actors. He did all of the voices for absolutely everything. And I had read through tons of scripts he'd been in and everything. So could apply this one, but it's going to be extremely niche, because the others was just going like, oh yeah, I know everything Isaac Newton did. Okay, it's niche, but
okay.
And anyway, that was my tangent.
I'll take that.
I was about 10.
I'll take what is marity for 5,000, please, Alex.
I don't
know how to bollocks made up by Rossity Davies. Correct. The thing I found with quiz shows, is unless you're talking something sort of like Mastermind, where you've got a degree of specialization, there are very few easy or difficult questions per se.
Yeah.
Perfect example being, who wants to be a millionaire? Judith Keppel. Now, I can't remember if she was the first person to win $1 million or the first female to win $1 million.
Yeah.
But there were a number of times on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I would have gone out before I got my first bonus, because I know so all about sports. I know so all about soap operas. But the question that won her £1 million, I answered before Chris, before Chris Tarrant had finished asking it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was about Eleanor Aquitaine. I know my medieval history. So, for me, I literally answered the question half before Chris Tarrant had asked it.
Well, here, Colin, here's the thing. Getting to the $1 million question, that's where the challenge lies.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to go through so many topics that you may not even have a Scooby about.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is that
she wasn't coughing through it.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Is that it's not it's luck.
It's luck
in a way, and also obviously if you do preparation, but if you do a lot of things. There was an episode of Monk which apparently may be coming back, where basically was there a scandal about one of the big American quiz shows where someone was caught talking.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I think a few years ago now, Kelly might know. I can't remember. I think, but basically, what they did is it was answer A, B, C, or D sort of question. Basically, some guy was blackmailing the quiz master into cheating into giving the answers away.
Kind of reminds me of the young ones when they took the piss. University challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. She went above the other scumbag.
The,
He really was.
remember the was it Michael Bennett Burt? That's not quite there. Can you give us any more? Certainly, will £50 do? Absolutely spot on.
Actually, you go back to what
I'm
you
thinking of Matthew Pounder's question there. Imagine if you're phoning a friend for the $1 million question.
Oh God!
How much do you pay your friend? I mean, if you get it right, how much do you pay your friend?
Well, you said it, Matthew. Was reminding me something I was going to say. I always thought when Are You Smarter, the 10-year-old started over here. I always thought really sorry for the kids if they got one wrong, because they're 10 years old.
Yeah.
And if they, I always hoped that they actually had proper support from parents, and if they got something wrong and it cost someone a lot of money, because if you're a 10-year-old, the pressure that's on you there.
What about the pushy parents?
Yeah, but what I mean is, you're a 10-year-old kid. Push your parents on it. You're a 10-year-old kid. You're putting them in a position like that, and they're not. It's not. If they get it wrong, they don't lose anything. The person they're asking the question for loses. So also it's a very. It was a really good idea. Really clever idea. I suspect a lot of adults were embarrassed when, or realised how much they'd forgotten that they'd learned at school, and how much what you learn at school is actually not really relevant to anything in real life. But I always thought, if the kids do get it wrong and it costs, I always used to think that I would hope there was someone there treating them as kids, to remember that they're kids. And I think, Jim, I think that was one of the ones that started over here, and then got its was. I know the Americans, I think, called it fifth grader.
Mm-hmm.
It's very smart and whatever, but exactly the same idea. Because I mean, if you remember back, Alex, to one of the early streams we were doing those shows with Arwin, where you got a lot of shows come back. I hadn't realised that we actually got blankety blank from the Americans. I think they got Hollywood squares from Celebrity Squares. I think there's a lot of cross-fertilization of these things. Someone comes up with an idea and it works, and then they sell it around the world.
I'm surprised we didn't sell the Golden Shot to America, or did they have it?
I don't know. I mean, they would actually probably be more familiar with a crossbow than the Brits, because they're allowed to use them in hunting. Which we're not. They're allowed to use bows and crossbows for hunting as well as firearms. We're not. Oh, no, Miranda.
Take care, Miranda.
Oh, take care, Miranda. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I mean, quiz shows have been around for. I suspect they're probably one of the earliest forms of entertainment on TV.
Well, the more interactive ones, at least. I mean, Price is Right. That was donkeys years ago.
Yeah.
There was probably some before that. You had dancing competitions and things like that. Long before, was it Come Dancing or whatever these?
Yeah, it was you Come Dancing was the original that Strictly was based on. Strictly was a revival of the old show Come Dancing.
Yeah.
I remember it long before Eurovision started getting very popular. We had a competition, call in to vote for your winner and everything. It kind of like BBC Red Nose stuff. Like you pay a premium price for your call, but it goes to charity. But you're voting for song or act or film or whatever it was.
Well,
that was 80s.
We had those. I mean, didn't we had those with. I'm sure how early. What I say early. I mean, not early because obviously I wasn't around for the start of TV. But some of our
early, Colin. You was around when television first came about.
No, I was in hibernation between sort of somewhere around the Battle of Agincourt and the 1960s.
Ah, okay.
I wasn't actually completely fully alive for 700 years. It just feels it. But yeah, I mean, because I'm sure that you used to get things like opportunity knocks and what's the other one? One that Lenny Henry came out of amongst others.
New Faces.
New Faces. And that I'm sure those ones again had phone-in votes.
Hey. Slowly getting it.
Yeah, by the time you finish this, you get an apprenticeship as an electrician in vehicle wiring.
I was gonna say like more like a neurosurgeon trying to reattach.
Yeah.
I'm not Doctor Strange.
Oh, he did. Did he do surgery? Anyway, I was thinking, shall we move it along a little bit because it looks like Alex is getting sort of really polished there because that's starting to look quite amazing. So
if the bloody pieces stop falling off.
Well, I was just thinking of introducing one of the films that I saw recently that I had never heard of before. And it's supposed to be a Christmas film.
Mm-hmm.
Before I give out the name, I will try to describe it without spoiling it. It's about Santa Claus. And Santa Claus has gotten a little bit, shall we say, disappointed with the materialistic weasels that kids are today.
Yeah.
So the film starts off with him having a good binge at an American bar. And he's quite plastered.
Santa Claus conquers the children.
Either way, he decides, crap it, I need to get back on duty, get my shit together. So he walks up to the roof, being chased by the bartender. It's like, hey, you can't walk out here. And she sees, the bartender, when she enters the rooftop, he's magically gone. That's kind of your first clue that he might be the real Santa, because in the bar there are other Santas drowning their sorrows as well. Anyway, he tries to do his round, obviously being a bit drunk, but then he enters this rather big house of very rich people. He does his magical sneaking around because people are actually in the house for once, and they're awake. There is no one sleeping. So that's a little bit of an amusement on its own. But what happens is, and I'm not sure if people remember know who John Leguizamo. I probably butcher his name, but you've seen him tons of times in hundreds of films. He's been around.
I know he was in Romeo and Juliet, Carlito's Way.
Yeah,
It's like
in this time, he's a bad guy deciding to, shall we say, again, I'm trying to not give away too many spoilers, but they decide to assault a house. So, like, pressure the rich people, pay us money, yada yada. And Santa gets kind of trapped in this whole hostage situation and everything.
Is he the one with Mel Gibson?
No, it's not Mel Gibson. This is the guy from Stranger Things.
Yeah, David Harbour.
Yeah. And it's really hilarious because Santa is not a fighter. He's trying his best to be Santa and try to save Christmas, but he's getting his butt handed to him left, right, and center. And yes, Wendy, I will give away a name soon, so keep your pants on. I was going to say, but don't drink all the wine. But yeah, that's probably as far as I can go describing it. But I found it far more hilarious than it should have been. And the film is called Violent Nights.
I see.
Oh, is that what it is? I've heard the name.
Yeah. And to be honest, if I had seen it on my scroll list going through, okay, I'm going to watch Die Hard, I'm going to watch Predator, I'm going to watch all of these classic 80s, 90s movies, having a little bit of Christmas connect. If it had been in that list, I would probably have skipped it. But my brothers, my friends, literally everybody was saying, you should go watch this one. It's really funny. And it does have its moment, but what I like the most is the fact that you think, okay, Santa looks big and burly and badass, but he's not a fighter anymore. And my namesake, as I'm using for my online handle, Jim the Viking, there's a slight connection there.
You used to be Santa as well?
I believe it's 2021, 22 maybe. So it is a recent movie.
Okay. Sorry, guys, carry
on. But yeah, that was my biggest surprise for this year. But the film came out a year or maybe 2 years ago. Well, 2024 now, so it might be 3 years if you're really being pedantic. But that was one of my bigger surprises. It's literally slipped completely under the radar, but I loved it. I really did. It was one of those surprises, not the best, but it was such a surprise. And I'm definitely putting it on a Christmas film or something to watch for Christmas, just like Die Hard.
Mm-hmm. And I've lost a piece.
I'm actually very fond of Die Hard 2, Die Harder. Like, what's that one Christmas? It's just
what a Christmas movie set in
still
an
classic.
Well,
yeah, but it's also, you got like.
I think the Christmas question around Die Hard films, it's a trap. They will shift the goalpost when you can start defining it. So is it a Christmas film? Well, it takes place during Christmas. No, that's not what I meant. Well, is it something that you would watch for Christmas? Absolutely. No, that's not what I meant. So they're trying to shift the goalpost there. But for me, Die Hard, all of them, even the fourth one, which not my favorite, but I consider them is Christmas enjoyment. It is kind of like Home Alone, very Christmassy, heavy themed, but I don't really focus Home Alone to just Christmas, whereas I do that with the Die Hard films. I can watch Home Alone in September, whereas I save the Die Hard one to Christmas.
I think
Matthew,
when anyone,
I just watched that one yesterday, Time Machine. If you mean the one with Guy Pearce, of course. But yeah, I really like that film as well, and it's one of that I kind of bring around when Christmas come along.
I thought it was all right.
I think the thing that you if someone says is such and such a Christmas movie, that is a situation where the first correct answer is define your terms.
Yeah.
I'm not being pedantic, but define your terms. Do you mean a film that is set at Christmas? Do you mean a film where Christmas is central to the storyline?
It is.
Do you mean do you mean a story where the Christmas spirit, if you like, is essential to the story? You know, it depends. It depends on what you mean by a Christmas movie. You know, I mean,
now I have a machine. Now I have a machine gun. Ho ho ho.
Yeah, but you know, I mean,
but for me, a Christmas film has to fill that whole thing of happiness, or like, hey, hero saves the day properly. Does it add value to the Christmas strength that it takes place during a Christmas setting and whatnot? Then yes, it adds more bonus to that. But like you said, Colin, it's about the framing, and the original question is Die Hard a Christmas film? That's just a trap, because they will constantly move the goalpost.
It depends. That's why I say it can be. It depends. As I said, that's why you have to say that depends on how you define a Christmas movie.
Hogfather, I agree completely.
It's not even set on Earth, but it's a Christmas movie.
We have a tradition in Scandinavia, or used to, and this is for those people that grew up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, perhaps. At 3 o'clock on the equivalent of BBC One, there is always an hour of Disney cartoons. So Donald Duck, Goofy, Benjamin Cricket.
Don't you think Jimmy?
What was the squirrel's name? Haley Daly, whatever it is.
Secret Squirrel?
No, the squirrels.
Chipmunks.
The chipmunks, yeah.
Chip and Dale.
Chip and Dale, that's the thing.
They started off as strippers.
And it's literally these bite-sized things that you would think would fit into like MTV. For those of us that remember MTV from the 90s, it was literally like 3-minute music video, commercials for half an hour, and then a 3-minute music video and commercial. But they literally took that and stitched it together for an hour clip. And then about 4 o'clock, that's when Christmas presents are opened.
Oh.
And also Christmas food being served. But it's because the season, so I'm kind of remembering that kind of fondly. But,
as I said, I mean, is Hogfather a Christmas movie?
I would say no, because Terry Pratchett never really meant
exactly. But the thing is, yes, it's not a Christmas movie. It's not even set in the universe where Christmas exists. But oh my God, is it a Christmas movie? It's all about Christmas. It's about
exactly
how
like
it's about how Christmas has changed.
The first tourist, or whatever it's called, the one with Sean Astin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Color of Magic.
Color of Magic and Light Fantastic.
But he was so brilliant on making traditions at Earth and then put it into Discworld.
Yeah, but okay, so is The Sound of Music a Christmas movie? It's on every bloody Christmas.
Okay, here's my take. Here's my take. Right. 1980s, very cynical decade. You know, action movies were pretty violent, pretty downbeat, in fact. Die Hard is kind of that genre, but it has a happy ending. So it's kind of almost, it's like, it's almost a kind of a ray of hope in that genre, which is usually very downbeat in that particular period, which is usually very downbeat. So actually there's an element of Christmas hope to it, because it's about a hero who really does save the day, and he does I suppose you could say there's an element of the.
That's a very clever observation, I would say.
Yeah, there's because he does you know how Jesus, he had the stigmata, he kind of he bore a lot of pain. So does John McClane. It's called Die Hard because he gets, what happens to him? He gets blown up. He gets his he gets bloodied feet. He goes through various, towards the end he's just absolutely beat up, but he's still fighting at the end. And I think in a way that's almost, it's a kind of a 1980s action movie twist on the idea of Jesus. There's also the bit where he's talking to that black cop who's he's got a tragic backstory to him. He made a mistake. He shot someone by accident, and so there's an element of redemption there. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I think, as I say, it depends what you mean by a Christmas movie. What aspect of the movie? What aspect of Christmas needs to be connected to the movie? Is it set?
Colin,
is it set at Christmas?
Well, Colin, if I put it like this, Christmas is all about the spirit. If you put it in that framing, and I will give you the. I think there are 2 films, or maybe 3 films about. I'm not sure if it's World War I or World War II, but the kind of Christmas truce, and I think it's a British film, and it has the British, it has the French, and it has the German, and you can find this on YouTube. It's about 12 minutes long. They sing Scottish regiment kind of Christmas songs a little bit in the beginning. The noise carries over, so the German starts hearing it, and the Germans at that moment happen to have an opera singer. So he starts singing back to them, and the French are just going like, "What the hell is going on here?" Anyway, the 3 of them kind of meet in the middle of the battlefield. The Scottish, British, not sure exactly what the split is there, but the German, they meet, they say, okay, let's not fight tonight. And the French didn't contribute anything in the beginning, but they come in and saying, hey, we got a couple of bottles of champagne here. That's maybe not a Christmas film, but I would say the spirit, it's Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Let's not fight. Sorry, I'm not kept up with the.
Exactly. Is as I say, I said I'm not trying to be smart. I think it literally depends on what you mean by a Christmas movie. What is your your definition? Yeah, exactly.
The spirit is it.
So I mean, if you have a story, I mean, Die Hard. My argument, my anti-Christmas argument with Die Hard is that the only Christmas thing about Die Hard is that they're having an office Christmas party. It will be the same story if they were having someone's leaving do, if it was Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I will say this though: the last Christmas party I had with the company I used to work for, the Christmas party I believe was actually the last day of November, because we don't do whatever it is Thanksgiving Day or whatever the Americans have. And it's like it wasn't even December, and we had the Christmas party.
Right, I'm gonna just bring something up. I'm never putting wiring together again inside a Lego model. So this.
That's actually wrong. You're coming here and putting in the wiring to my Lego build I am building next month.
Oh God, am I?
Why, you're the expert now.
Expert.
All right. Okay. Here's
Doug.
Okay. Then. Is Twice Upon a Time a Christmas episode?
Yeah.
Tough call. Very tough call.
Why is it Sadako?
Well, it's
I'm not
like
challenging. I'm asking for your reasoning. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm just saying, why do you think it's a Christmas movie?
Snow. It's got snow. Twice Upon a Time.
Yeah. Capaldi's last episode.
It's got snow. Yeah, it's got snow. It's got it kind of makes big plot points about the armistice of World War.
For the first time in history. What's it over that speech? For the first time, people actually stopped and that's what I would say. That's exactly. That's what Jim was saying. That's exactly. I would say that's exactly what makes it a Christmas story. It's Christmas because plot. But it's only a plot point there, but it's an important plot point. Is that I must admit, having said that, that's an episode I will watch. If I have to watch that, I will probably watch the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes. Most of it in between is completely irrelevant. But the bit where I remember first time I saw that when I was watching it, not when it was on live, at some point you come up and you go, I think 30 seconds before Mark Gatiss, I thought.
Sorry to jump in here, Colin, but Wendy has to say goodnight.
All right.
Good night, Wendy.
Oh, good night, Wendy. Good night, Wendell.
Thanks for watching.
Happy New Year.
I hadn't made. I don't know if I was just not paying attention or not making a connection or what, but there's got to a point where asks the captain his name. I knew what that answer was going to be. As soon as he asked the question, until then I hadn't thought about it, but as soon as he asked, I thought there was only one name that guy could have, and that's the point. And I mean, I said I don't know if maybe I've missed something through, maybe it was well written or what, but I thought I know what that name's going to be. So, as soon as he asked the question, it was obvious what it had to be. But I hadn't even occurred to me beforehand.
So Alex, put the bloody wiring kit on before you freaking assemble it.
Yeah. Does it not tell you how to do it?
It's telling me how to do it on the instructions. The problem is that it's trying to and I thought my Thunderbird 2 was worse.
Yeah.
It's very fiddly. Very fiddly. Oh,
it looks.
Who designs these bloody things? Oh yes. No, it's just a certain wire here that won't, plug in.
Oh, is the kit designed with wiring it up in mind?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. It's probably so it's designed. You've got
but the thing is, Lego should put their own bloody wiring kits in this.
Well, yeah.
Not third parties.
Or at least design them in conjunction with the third party so that the wiring goes where you want. It's just easier to wire up. Because you notice, I mean, I watched, I watched quite a few, going back to what we talked about Warhammer 40k earlier on, quite a lot of modelling and diorama building channels, and some of those they actually sort of put wiring in and the rest of it. It's quite interesting how they do that. They have to actually.
Yeah, but I'm an amateur, Colin.
Well, no, I'm saying it's the way they do it is different here because, of course, what they're doing is, drilling and they're putting things in where the wiring's not supposed to go. But
yeah, it's not just that. It's just the thing is that if there was like a Lego piece where you could attach the wires to,
then
you wouldn't have this bloody problem. But the way they've designed it is that it's just I should have put this on the back first, really. Because it's this tricky little wire here that is really annoying. But carry on, gents. You bastard.
I forgot what I was saying. I'll skip back down the stream and see. Do a meatball. I'm back and see.
Right. Yeah, I've got it wrong. No wonder the bloody things. Oh, God.
Well, we did get a bit into the topic of Doctor Who, didn't we?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I was trying to make sure that we kept it varied and everything.
Okay, right.
So
okay, never mind.
Before we might jump back into Doctor Who. Anyone heard about the TV show that came out? It's probably just 3 or 4 weeks ago now. It's called 1670.
Ooh.
1670.
Yep. Not sure exactly. It's either on Netflix or Prime.
You went terribly again there.
Got you. Yeah. But
somebody got an echo again. But
Echo. Hello.
No, I don't want to watch that.
Yeah, so I like the trailer of 1670. But it was kind of too much The Office for me. So Gervais, that kind of humor, and it was just bad for me.
Welcome to the Echo channel.
It's definitely not me echoing because I was muted there.
Well, it's Polish, is it? I say.
Yeah, it's a Polish show set in the 1670s. And by the way, according to the show, Poland is the greatest nation on the planet at that time.
I'm sure the Poles thought so.
Oh, damn it. The echoing's me, but I can't seem to. For some reason, I think it's. I can't seem to get the mic. I think is a bit too. I don't know. I just need to turn my speakers down. Should be all right.
Yeah, you don't seem to be echoing at all.
Okay.
But yeah, I can hear myself then.
Testing.
Hello.
The echoing stopped.
Let's try.
Still there.
Yeah, I can still hear myself coming back somehow.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's definitely me. How about now?
Yeah, we're not blaming you. Like Matthew said here.
Okay. Is the echo still there?
Hello.
Hello. Yeah,
I'm still here.
it is.
Oh, damn it. Tell you what, what if I leave and come back in? My help.
Give that.
Now he's got me to talk about behind his back.
I hate him.
Yeah, he will have no proof of what we talked about.
Unless he's watching the stream, of course.
I've lost the Lego piece.
Well, you have 100,000 of them around you.
Yeah, I've got to consult my Lego box in a minute.
So one presumes then that this is in Polish, Jim.
It has really good English voiceover.
Oh right, that's okay.
And I do mean it's like, wow. I've seen some really bad voiceover, but this one is like, hang on, I didn't even clock that we're speaking in a different language.
Wow.
Because you have Polish, you have Slovak, you have a lot of different languages of the, shall we say, Eastern European one. But the voiceovers are just really good. And I
How's
do
the echoing?
like they
Can't hear no echo now, mate.
woke,
Good.
but
Excellent.
they do have a little bit. Oh yeah, I came here on the work exchange program. That kind of thing.
I think if they bring that sort of thing and they make a joke of it as well, or even do an in-universe explanation for it.
Well, you've seen Lotus Eaters. You've seen what they've been talking about recently. This is definitely a modern interpretation. I wouldn't think that this would happen back in the day, but they put 2023 into 1670, but they don't really focus on that. They try to make a little bit of fun, like the prince or whatever he is walking through the backyard of his own turf and saying, there are a lot of people starving here, like these two children. And then he makes a pose, and then he just walks away and says, like, oh, those poor children.
Well, I mean, the thing that I find sometimes odd, but let's go again. But you have to work out is I don't like personally, for example, when you see they do Shakespeare, but you do Macbeth, for example, and it is Macbeth word for word, but it's set in some fascist state or whatever. There was one they did, it's out of sequence. Now, if you do, whereas I have no problem, for example, with West Side Story being Romeo and Juliet, because it is literally when it came out, West Side Story was Romeo and Juliet for a modern audience, or for which is exactly.
There is no such thing as a modern audience.
No. What I mean is, what I mean by that is, it was because it was West Side Story, but it was brought up to date. It was Romeo and Juliet, star-crossed lovers, yada yada. But it wasn't. They weren't putting Shakespearean English into a Puerto Rican ghetto or whatever, the Puerto Rican community. They were telling that story, but they were telling it with then count their characters, count their language. That's fine, because people of whatever period you're talking about, if you're talking a historical era, would have had their own colloquialisms. They would have had their own ways of speech, which we would not recognize now. But the modern equivalent would be what we use as turns of phrase. You know what I'm saying? Is that if
I think I read the paper by, it might actually have been Arthur C. Clarke or maybe Heinlein or one of these authors, and they were saying if you travel back just 100 years in British history, so say you were in London, you traveled back 100 years, you would struggle to understand and be understood in the way you were speaking.
Language wise, as opposed to dialect and colloquialism wise, language wise, you can a modern English speaker, certainly native English speaker, it's probably harder if it's your second language and if you're not as fluent in it as you are in your main language, can understand Shakespeare. You can understand Shakespeare. You couldn't understand Chaucer, or nowhere near as easily, because the language has changed dramatically.
Well, Shakespeare is getting more complicated to understand these days. You need proper education to understand the whole balancing between where he goes floral in the language just to add description, but where he's going underhanded to describe danger and everything.
Yes,
they are so subtle that if you only understand modern English, you don't understand.
Yeah. You need to understand. Yeah, as I say, you're right. The stylistic understanding. There's as I was saying, there's tonal and all that. But the actual language, the words that Shakespeare uses, have not changed that much to the modern day English. The way they're used may have done, but you go back to the different two houses, both alike in dignity, for example, or tomorrow is the feast of Crispian. He that fights with me upon this day should be my brother. Be he ne'er so base born, this day should gentle his condition. That and Miriatis will summon a lost with frugal of song. Och nu neheth, wind is blast on weather strong. Mainly, I did that one because I remember that one, and I can't remember more than the first line of the Canterbury Tales. But the difference.
Yeah, but thing is, people still misunderstand Shakespeare. Like, the famous one is Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Most people, your average layman probably thinks she's asking, where are you, Romeo? She's not. She's saying, why are you Romeo? Yeah. It's why is your name Romeo?
I do a better of you.
Of the name of the couple.
Why is Gomorrah? Yes, I know what you said. Yes.
That is something that actually got brought into it's probably forgotten now, but the George Clooney film, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Mm-hmm.
And people were going, oh, where is my brother? It's like, no, that's not what the title meant.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, yes, as I said, what I was saying is though that if you can read Shakespeare, and you can get a much easier gist of it. Yes, the language has changed, the use of language has changed, but you can still read it. You can watch Blackadder the Second, and most of and you could what they say, even though they're speaking Shakespearean styles and the rest of it, there very little of that probably would not be understood, especially because they've got the use of language probably would not be understood by an Elizabethan.
Oh, before you dig too deep into that one, Colin, I think you managed to snag me and PJ in on words used in language, and you managed to hit us with the word decimate. What does that mean? And both of us just failed because we didn't recognize the Roman part of the word.
Well, that's an example of language changing.
I think you could
exactly.
I think people will. I think with Shakespeare, people will understand it if it's presented with the action, the words. The actors understand the words, and the action is shown. Like that's why I think Baz Luhrmann's, the modernized version of William Shakespeare, of Romeo and Juliet works so well. It was like it was like it's like there was a language of cinema that went with the language of Shakespeare. So the two kind of combined in a very, very coherent way, if you know what I mean. And the audience, I think, really got it.
I'm sorry, if Romeo and Juliet hasn't got an 18-year-old Olivia Hussey's tits out, I don't care about it.
He cares.
Yes, dang it.
Excuse me, when was that? That was the 70s, so I was old enough for that one. She's about my age, so it counts.
What was her name again?
Olivia Hussey. In the
Yes.
Damn it, I've forgotten whose Romeo and Juliet it was. It was, I think it was Roman Polanski. Did Polanski direct it? In the 70s. Actually, no, she's a bit older than me, I think.
1968. Oh no, is there Franco
Zeffirelli. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank God, she did have a nice rug.
God, she was. Her daughter's not bad looking either. But yeah, she was. Olivia Hussey would be. I didn't do. Damn, it's too late. Actually, I might have done. Mr. Brown Alliance. Was doing a poll for hottest women. Nation. Always been in sci-fi. And I'm afraid most of the names I were coming up with once from the 70s and the 80s.
Let's see. My list would be Judy Bowker, Sophia Loren.
Yes, actually.
Jane Seymour, she'd have to be on the list.
Oh, Jane Seymour's top of my every list when it comes to Bond. I don't care what. Actually, no. the top of my list. What Jane Seymour hasn't.
Jane Seymour, by the way, did she have some extreme plastic surgery? Was she just staying gorgeous for whatever? And she was like Dr. Quinn or whatever, and she's like same look through 50 years.
Somewhere in a securely locked safe is a painting of Jane Seymour that's getting older and older and older. Now, my pick was I said, can you tell me? They've also actually got something else in common as well. Would be Sophie Loren, but that will be from El Cid or Fall of the Roman Empire mainly. Kathleen Bella from The Sword and the Sorcerer and Dynasty. Who else was on my list? I should say, Judy Bowker was on my list.
Is Lizette Anthony is she on your list?
Emmanuel. Lizette Anthony actually also interestingly starred opposite Olivia Hussey in Ivanhoe. No, was she?
I mainly knew Lizette Anthony from Dracula Dead and Loving It, which she played Lucy.
She was also in Kroll.
But Lucy, I'm British, so is.
By the way, there's also the one from the Railway Children that managed to stay timeless.
Jenny Agatha.
Oh, Jenny Agatha.
Jenny Agutter is almost unique on my list because she's about the only person on there who's always had short hair. By my standards. God, pixie cuts of the boys. Yes.
Jenny Agutter, what a siren.
And she counts as being on the list for Logan's Run for several reasons, not least of which is because Logan's Run's science fiction.
They do, okay. I see what you did.
Yes, Judy Belker was the Count Dracula, yeah. In fact, she was in Count Dracula opposite the lovely Jan Francis.
Yeah.
Who, interestingly, actually, to bring us back to where we were, the rabbi has suggested as a possible female Doctor Who.
Well, she was the plasma. She was the villain in what was it? The one with the Smith and Jones one where she played that plasma creature.
Well, sure.
One of the Doom hunting.
The
episode where Martha was introduced, she played the old woman who actually was the alien secret, and she had that straw.
No. Really?
Yeah.
You're kidding me. That was you. That was Jane Francis.
If by Jane Francis you mean the woman who played Lucy, the one who was first turned by Dracula.
I can't remember. Jan Francis was in Secret Army.
Oh, was she?
And Just Good Friends.
All right.
Judy Belker was Dracula and obviously Clash of the Titans.
Yeah. I thought because in Dracula, Judy Belker plays Mina, and who? Oh, see, I thought you were referring to the girl who played her sister Lucy.
Hold on, am I getting confused with? Because there were several versions of Dracula came out around the same time. I might be getting confused with someone else. Possibly? I don't know. Jan Francis was in Dracula in 1979. Hold on a second. And now we're off on a tangent as well here. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh no! Sorry. I got the wrong. Yeah, the woman I was thinking of was Susan Penhaligon. Oh, right. Yeah, Susan Penhaligon.
Oh, Susan Penhaligon was in Smith and Jones. Wow. Yeah, I said there were a few of them at the time because hold on, who was it? Yeah, who was in? You'll notice I remember most of it from the female actors, rather than the fact that Frank Langella was Dracula. God, the cast of that though, wow, the 1979. You've got Frank Langella as Dracula. Van Helsing was Laurence Olivier. Yeah, this was the one with Kate Nelligan as Lucy. Donald Pleasance, Trevor Eve, Jan Francis. Someone called Sylvester McCoy. No idea what came of him.
Didn't they used to put ferrets down his trousers?
I think he became a wizard at some point.
Yeah, Roscoe the Brown, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I put up on one of the Discord servers, I think a few times I actually come up with a meme was River Song saying, "I hate it when a wizard always turns out to be him," and then the picture that of course was Sylvester was Radagast.
Mind you, I got it wrong. It wasn't actually in Smith and Jones.
Yeah, so I didn't.
Got it wrong. Anne Reid. That's who was the.
Oh, right.
What else was she in? I've got completely confused. Sorry, I was so. Yeah.
Well, that happens. I mean, you know who's in? Yeah, so many people appear in these things.
Mm-hmm.
So, did we have any other surprising films for 2023? Like I said, my one was The Violent Night. It was technically not the 23 film because it was made earlier, but I did discover it in 23.
Oh, it probably doesn't count because I only watched it after last night because I stayed up with my neighbor downstairs. We watched Jules Holland, and so after midnight. This was after midnight, so we saw it like in the beginning of 2004. So I don't think it's a 2000. I don't think it really counts. Sorry, 2024. And it was a film called, was it Tales of Madness or something? Actually, no. Let's see.
If we put it this way, at the end of 24, you're not likely to remember what you did on January 1st.
Right. Tales that Witness Madness. It was kind of this horror anthology. It's set in a mental asylum. Don Pleasance is in it, actually, as one of the doctors, and he's been given a tour of each of these inmates, and each one of them has this kind of supernatural horror story to them.
I wish Wendy was still in chat. I'm not sure they did that on. She and Mr. Hyde did that one.
Yeah,
I don't know about. Yeah,
right.
Oh, Pleasance, what an actor!
Oh yeah.
So the one we saw was the because we started watching it halfway through. It was an episode called the Penny Farthing with this time traveling unicycle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. Sorry, not a unicycle. Penny Farthing bicycle. You know, the one with the front wheel is far bigger than the back wheel.
Yeah.
So it almost looks like unicycle. It's not a unicycle. So
yeah.
And there's another one. The one after that was the one. It's Michael Jason. The Valeyard was in, and he's married to Joan Collins, and he brings in this tree sculpture that Joan Collins really doesn't like, and she gets really jealous, insanely jealous of the tree sculpture.
Mm.
But like the tree sculpture's kind of sentient, it ends up trying to kill Joan Collins. It's actually quite good.
In the sea pitch, right?
Yeah, she was a fine-looking woman back then.
She was. She was in some surprising movies as well. Because she came out of a system she was one of a lot of people that came out of effectively the British version of the Hollywood system. Where they were sort of, which is why you get a lot of them actually spoke the way they did, because that's how they were taught to speak. Not necessarily RP, but they were all taught to speak that way. Marytown can eat me any day. No, sorry.
Well, I mean, for me, her best performance. Yeah, for me, it's always Star Trek. Where she played, was it Edith Keeler?
Edith Keeler.
That's someone always
Keeler. Yeah. That was a very good, very powerful performance from most of all the cast, in fact, well, at least the main cast. Yeah, I mean, she's another one of these ones. She's a good actress when she's depends what role she gets. When she gets really good roles, she's very good.
Yeah, I think in the apparently they had to fight, like the final line where Kirk says, "Let's get the hell out of here." Apparently they had to fight for that line because they thought, "Oh my God, he's using profanity."
Yeah,
religious profanity, and they had to fight for that line. It's like you needed that line. That line was just so perfect. It was just said it all about about that episode.
Yeah, it's like it's like the F word. there were times where, and I think Billy Connolly did a whole thing about. I know he did a whole thing about. I don't know if he's on to come up with, but that sometimes you need it for emphasis. You're not using it for swear value. You're using it for the emphasis value, for the relief or whatever. Not just let's get out of it, but let's get the hell out of here. The scene would not be the same if you just said let's get out of here. You need something in there to have that particular emotion, that particular power.
It's like Planet of the Apes, Damn You All to Hell. I think Heston actually had to argue, you know what, it's not using that in vain. He's literally damning them to
actually that is literally he is literally doing it.
It's perfect.
Charlton Heston, legend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're exactly. It's the emotion of the scene. There are some times when if you're actually humaning, that you're actually being a human, then something is going to come out because of the emotional level, because of the power of that of the emotion there.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't come out, then
do you think
it's not
maybe this days not? Do you think maybe these days in film and TV, it's not so much that they it's all the swearing, it's all emotional, and so that's kind of why it gets diluted. Like you don't get standout emotional moments because everything's an emotional ordeal almost. They're trying to make everything
maybe.
kind of
maybe, or it's
sentimentalize everything.
It's just there for the purpose of swearing. It's a lot of the time I think it's put in just for what might say shock value. Because
actually last night,
right.
Now I'm trying to remember which one it was, but it was so over the top. It wasn't the biggest profanity, but there's literally a scene happening in there, and I go, okay, yeah, I understand. But there's this guy running shit, and it goes on for probably 2.5, maybe 3 minutes. And I'm thinking, this is not meant for the film. This is not meant for the entertainment. This is not meant for the audience. It's literally just put in there for Guinness Book of World Record of how quickly can you say this word in a publicly produced film. I mean, okay, yeah, he was in a deep bucket of manure. The wording was applicable to the situation. It was just how many times he said it was just outrageous. It is like at least 3 shits per second for a good 2.5 minutes.
You need a really good shit.
Like even 4 weddings and a funeral, like people complain because that's the first line in the film is just them waking up realizing they missed the wedding and yeah, a lot of F bombs there. And it's like in Spock says, you sure it isn't time for a colourful metaphor, Admiral?
Yes, yeah.
It's from my best favorite film ever from Star Trek.
I love that film. I do. It's one of my favorites too. Yeah,
especially when he's speaking across to the punk and just pinches him.
Yeah. So
like,
apparently that was
simply the way they talk. Yeah, nobody listens to it. No one pays any attention to it and lets you swear every other word. You'll find it in all the literature of the period.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're going to say about the punk. Yeah.
Well, it's actually true. If we pick up a book from that era, any author from, shall we say, the West Coast region of US probably be using the same colorful language, so to speak.
Colorful metaphors. Yeah.
Colorful
I
metaphors.
mean, even
yes.
I mean, even Scarface. Like there's a YouTube clip that just edits out all the times the F word is used, and
Well, say hello to my little friends.
it's about 5 minutes long. Just the isolated fuck, and then of course you got, and it's halfway through you get Michelle Pfeiffer saying, "Can't you stop saying fuck all the time?" And then just carries on.
Yeah, there's it's like anything else. It has a place, and if it's appropriate, it's appropriate.
Yeah.
You don't, you can't really go too far. You can't really go too far if it's appropriate. If it's needed, you need it. Then okay, so obviously you have to do something else if you're doing, say, a kids show. But in that case, there are some things maybe that you shouldn't be doing if you're in a kids show.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think in the kids show maybe in the kids show it's a case of the emotional intensity is supposed to be slightly lesser anyway, so that you don't quite get situations where, because you're not being quite so natural. You're being you're in this kind of fantasy world. I mean,
yes.
To me, why I think it bothered me in Picard when you had the Admiral saying sheer fucking hubris. I thought that bothered me because it felt like I just had the impression that in the Star Trek universe, people didn't go quite. It just wasn't. It's an alien world in that universe, if you know what I mean. It's an alien word, in that universe. Like no one uses that kind of language usually in Star Trek. Usually they're much more enlightened about how they, use language.
Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could be right. I see what you're saying. I don't know. I don't never watched Picard, but I know the scene, obviously. I actually thought that was being more self-referential than they realised.
Right, Star Trek. Okay, in the TV show, you never really heard swearing. Like I think the most you might get is Picard saying, "I hope I don't make an ass of myself in front of the kids," or maybe a damage him, or a "let's get the hell out of here," something along those lines. The movies, you could push the envelope a bit, and occasionally someone would say, "You son of a bitch," or "You Klingon bastard," or indeed in Star Trek 4, where they go back in time where everyone just uses profanity, so they just kind of and of course, in Generations, Data gets the emotion chip, and so he starts cursing a bit as well. But usually it's like shit is probably the most extreme profanity they'll use. They'll never use the really extreme swear words, the ones that tend to guarantee, like milder swear words tend to get a film a PG rating. Like in Back to the Future, that's a PG, but like the word shit is used, the word bastard, what else? You Libyan sons of bitches, that kind of thing. But as long as no one uses the F word or the C word, I think usually kind of the film is okay. It doesn't quite get I think you can use the F word once in a 12 movie.
Yeah.
Beyond that, it's a 15.
Those are just such silly things, because I think all of us here have seen George Carlin's what's the 7 F-bombs or whatever it's called, and he's just going, it's like, okay, I got about 50 other words. Far more crass.
Belgium, man, Belgium.
Well, there's I was saying the Billy Connolly sketch song. He refers back to
What, the crucifixion?
No, he's got one. The song is called the song is called a 4-letter word, and it comes at the end of a sketch, and he starts off. He's talking about swearing. He's saying he's swearing. It's in front of kids. It's no nice. He says because your kids take it to school and everyone knows you did it. but then he comes up because there was a guy called Ken Tynan. And apparently he's famous for actually using the F word on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And Billy kind of goes away. And the song has got, I mean, it's got some really like a lot of Billy Connolly, so it's actually really quite clever because he's got a line in it saying about swearing. The song it's called a 4-letter word. It shouldn't be said in polite company when ancient old ladies are sipping their tea. But if the truth were told, sure as hell, they've not only said it, they've done it as well. Funny line, but true. You know, you're referring to something, but you know, I think you find, you know, a lot of the people that you're trying to be polite in your use of language around not only know the word, but they're quite, you know, they've said and used it. So, you know, we are a little bit, I don't know if hypocritical is the right word, but, you know, there is a little bit of a double think in between how we use some of the language we use, which is fair enough to bring up. But yeah, exactly. I mean, there are places where swearing is, as I said, I mean, I wish I could remember who it was. I think it was Colin. Some, you know, something on when bloody F when F just isn't good enough. You know, as we said, you know, it's an emphasis word. It's not meant. It's not meant to be. It's like, as you said, Jim used the word damn. It's not meant to be a for want of a better phrase, it's not meant to be blasphemous in some ways. It's used because it's a powerful word to evoke and to release and to help release powerful emotions.
Yeah. Eric Idle did this great song called I Bet You They Wouldn't Play This Song on the Radio. And he started swearing, like sort of swearing, but it was mostly beep, 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 beep.
Well, the other one again, Billy Connolly again. Great. Again, another one I think of, actually it was the same sketch.
Mm-hmm.
And it said, you know, make your own words because they can mean whatever you want. And he says, you know, like Gettifer, Gettifer can mean a wheel, you know, oh, how cute, and you know, and Yabasa, Yerbassa can mean, you know, flowers. So, you know, Gettifer, Yabassa can mean, oh, we bunch of pretty daisies. But you say, Gettifer, Yabassa. It sounds as if you're being rude.
Yeah.
It's an interesting, you know, it's a very interesting phenomenon, I think. I mean, you know, one of the things that we don't talk about was polite, but why? Why is it that we consider it rude? We do. I mean, I consider it. I'm not saying I don't, but why do we consider it rude to talk about perfectly natural and important?
Oh, fucking hell, it's come off in the bloody side now. Sorry.
Functions and bodily functions. Why do we consider it rude? Why is it rude to talk about toilet functions? Why is it rude? It's perfectly natural. Everyone does it. I don't know why. You know, but
okay.
I think it's yeah, but I think it's an interesting quirk of human nature. The things that we do, and I suspect there's maybe some cultures may be different to others, I don't know, that we find objectionable and others we find perfectly fine. And we you know.
You think of the Royals, okay? Can anyone of us imagine one of the Royals using the toilet? It's just, we know where they do it, but it's unthinkable.
Can you imagine your parents bonking? They must have done.
I know.
They must, by very definition, have done. Unless you're adopted, Yeah, exactly. No.
Just as the discussion gets interesting, I need to bow out now.
Okay, Jim.
Okay, mate.
Take care, Jim.
Take care,
You
Jim.
guys have a good one, and I will catch up on the last bits and seeing how the discussion goes from here tomorrow morning. Have a good one.
Downhill, probably. Cheers, mate.
Have a good one, guys.
Jim. Take care, Jim.
Bye.
Thanks for being here.
Take care, buddy.
Yeah, and it's something that's it's something that's always interesting me, is how we use language, why language is the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm somewhat of a biological essentialist is one phrase we're using, but I don't know if it's necessarily applicable in all cases. But for these things, that there are reasons why I think if we have these things, there are reasons why we have them. We have them for a reason. We may not necessarily be able to identify them, but there are reasons why they're developed culturally over hundreds of thousands of years. We just don't necessarily know what those may be. Something, so why we do about some things is more obvious than others, perhaps. But it's still why do we do it? You do sometimes sort of stop and think. Why is it? If it's that rude to use the F word, why are we generally fine when people come up with euphemisms for it?
Yeah,
we know what it means. I mean, are we? Who are we?
The origins are Anglo-Saxon, aren't they? I think maybe the Anglo-Saxons probably would have used the F word very commonly.
I think it's probably of Anglo-Saxon origin. I mean, it's odd because you say the phrase Anglo-Saxon is often used, or sometimes used to refer to, quote, obscenity, unquote. I'll put that in quotes because I'm not sure there's a better word for it. But you get what I mean.
I mean, even today, like when they do the party in the park thing, T4 did that party in the park thing. Like the bands were kind of told if anyone swears, you get a fine.
Right.
And they did. I think London Grammar, and you think London Grammar quite kind of on the surface of the most posh band of the lot, but one of the guys swore, and the lead singer was like, "Don't swear, you're gonna get us fined." And,
don't fucking swear, get us fucking fined. yeah. It's a cultural thing. I'm sure of it. It's the same. It's something I've always found as intriguing. I don't know if there's an answer to it. It's something that's developed over time, and that we have these sensibilities, and you get, okay, well, you can't ask that question. Well, why can't I ask that question? But fair enough,
well, the idea is, I think, if once you join the army, you can, the idea that people in certain professions can, like in working class male professions, men always swore, but they wouldn't swear in front of the ladies or the kids, apparently.
Yeah.
At least,
It's like I think in some way. Say again.
Anyone good at needle?
I was. It's like I was in a writers group, and we did a bit of reading and writing, and there was a book we read. The book we read was The Girl on the Train, and one of the older guys there was saying that he felt very strongly that certain language like that is not appropriate around women. It should be respectful. And the fact that it was women swearing a lot. I mean, I didn't even think the book had that much in, but to him it was shocking. And women gave birth to you. We should respect women. I said, well, that's being patronizing. No, it's not being patronizing. But I was saying, look, it's a book from the adult section, the adult reading section. You don't treat the reader as a child if they're, just because they're female kind of thing. But he seems to still have that very old-fashioned view.
I think it's. I'm not sure. It's yes, you're right. Old-fashioned.
Be right back, guys.
Say again.
Be right back.
All right. I think there are reasons for it. I mean, there are historical, biological, and some other reasons why, despite what some modernists would seem to want you to think, why men are more to do things and women don't, and why men are more likely to why men are going to protect women. I mean, it's like I sort of sometimes feel a little bit embarrassed if I'm in chats and with a few females and males as well, and sex comes up. But I'm quite sure that I'm sure women are, amongst themselves, I'm sure women are just as in their own way are just as sort of dirty, if you want a better way. The men are. They just don't do it in front of men, and men don't do it in front of women. I think part of it goes back to it is a men's job is to protect women and children.
Yeah.
And I think that carries over in some ways. As you said, I mean, it's like as you said, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily what you're saying about in the army, in the work. I don't think it's I'm not sure it's necessarily about being in work. I think part of it is the nature of the work, which is why the military. Why the hell have we all? Sorry, what?
I think it's camp for the DeLorean.
Yeah. Oh, what? No, I just wondered what. No, so no, I just wondered what.
No, I'm going to call it a night on this one, guys, because this is taking forever.
I mean, I think in part, at least in part, it is because it is the nature of the work. It's the nature of the risk. It's why you get the military, you get police and emergency services and the like can have very, very black humour, very dark humour.
Yeah.
Because remember, it's a relief. It's a release and a relief to the stress of that particular type of work.
Yeah, I think maybe in some ways the fact it could become more common now and accepted now is because I think, well, I like to think there's an element of awareness of, look, people need to vent, people need to let their feelings out. The bottling stuff up is unhealthy, and people need to express themselves. If that means expressing themselves profanely, then that's what they have to do in order to get the stronger emotions out. And I feel like in the past it was thought that men had to be kind of disciplined and tough, and now it's now they have to kind of it's believed that no, that's not healthy. It's healthy. It's healthier to swear than to not. It's healthier to feel you can express yourself as however you want, as eloquently or as vulgarly as you want.
It is.
And
it is.
Like when we did those script doctors, remember the script doctors we did?
Yeah.
And like the women on them were just as bad as the men in terms of the the sexual innuendo kind of thing that we did, wasn't it? It was
yeah, absolutely. I mean,
it's one for me. The funniest one of them for me was still CCDV as the Borat in Time Lash, and he was saying he was gonna. I shall put out Perry. If Perry does not agree to this, I shall put out her eyes, but I will not spoil her. Boingy, boingy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but yeah, exactly. I mean, I think it is. There is a degree. There is also a degree of it is also social, in that it is how various societies react relate. I mean, unlike the capital F feminist, I've never thought that quote, Victorian unquote, because that's the word, attitudes towards women are necessarily patronizing. I think a lot of them are actually.
I think they were.
They wouldn't. They seem to. They seem to us to be patronizing, but I think a lot, not all of it, and a lot of it may have come from a belief that they were protecting. Not perhaps that well expressed, and yes, a lot of it may well have been just to keep men in power. But I think a lot of attitudes tend to be a case of okay, well that's what you believe, what we believe at the time. I mean, not all of it, obviously, and not in every instance, but a lot of it is a case of okay, well.
Yeah, but it's like COVID. It's like we were protected by being kept indoors. It's almost like protection becomes a prison.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not saying. Yeah, exactly. I mean, as I said, I mean, and how much? Well, the question is how much was believed. But yeah, you're right. But as I said, again, we look back on that now, and a lot of people now who were, shall we say, a lot less questioning. Shall we say? Let's just probably general about it. A lot more accepting of it. Aren't so much now. A lot less challenge. Are now prepared to challenge now. Looking back on it, because we've changed. We now know different things. I think that a lot of it is in part. A lot of it. It's you have to judge. You have to judge people in their time, not yours.
Do you ever watch Honey Badger Radio?
I've watched it a couple of times a long time ago. I completely forgot.
It's just I remember one particular stream they did about during Gamergate, and they had this phone in about people talking about Gamergate and the effect of Anita Sarkeesian, trying to bring feminism into games, and this whole thing about it was being framed that the game. The world of interactive gaming was all this, very masculine world. Whenever there was a girl gamer, she would always get abuse or kind of innuendo from players, and they would talk about we should make gaming more accepting, and they were saying, well, no, gaming should be competitive and aggressive. That's the point of the gaming.
It is that sort of game.
Yeah, a guy phoned in and said, well, do you think it is just a case that women play, women just aren't into that culture of competitiveness because women are kind of all about kind of being nice and pretty and pristine and all that. And Alison responded perfectly by saying, you know what, that's, the thing is being, women, this whole kind of niceties that women are in, that's how women compete. That's how women try to cut each other out. They try to say, you're not being as nice as us, kind of thing. They say that's how women are, and that's how women, female social interactions are. And you're saying once you understand that, the nicety of women, it's not so nice,
Yeah, it's a different form of, I mean, shock, horror, gasp, men and women. What's the word I'm looking for? Starts with D.
Devious?
No. Starts with D. Engine errant. Different. That's it. Gasp, men and women are different. Wow. Who'd have known these things? Exactly. They actually can be, so it may well be that very few women are that interested in that. Not all men are interested in that sort of game. I'm not, for example. I'm not particularly overly that interested in the sort of the competitive aspect of games. I never was at school. I was never into sports done at school. When I do role play games and the rest of it, I much prefer the ones where where you're not trying to stitch each other up or anything.
I have not gamed in a long. I have not gamed in a long while. I've been thinking of getting myself an Xbox or PlayStation just because they brought back the Sonic games, like the Sega classics, and I used to love a Sega Mega Drive. That was the last gaming system I had. Like I've played PlayStation when I had a shared flat, shared house rather, but I've never really, not more than that. So I kind of fell out of gaming in a lot of ways. Like the only games I would play after that would be PC games like Bejeweled and Samantha Swift and Star Defender. Star Defender was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I'm the same one. I tend to play. I said I tend to do. I mean, I'm doing a couple of. I do role play on. Hopefully, starting again this week on Friday evenings. I do. But what PJ used to. Hopefully, he's going to come back. He's going to be back again this year. We do a couple of games with an American GM. And I much. I said I prefer the ones where you're actually working together. You're working as a team, to the ones where you're sort of being somewhat more competitive. But that's me. That's how I prefer these things. I'm not that competitive. But yeah,
I'm hopeless at role playing. I have to say.
I tend to say I'm more of an adventure gamer than a role player, although the two tend to go together very much. I much prefer it. The story element, I'm not that good at taking on a role player and just being that character and nothing else. But I enjoy playing the game, so I enjoyed thinking, okay, what would this character do in the rest of it? But it's a lot of it is what you want to get out of it and what you take to it. So it's what you want to get from the game, I think.
Take care, Kelly.
Oh, night, Kel.
Take care, Kelly.
Oh, night, Kelly. Night, Kelly.
Oh God.
Well, Matthew's gone as well. Have we actually got anybody left?
Well, we're going to anyway.
Yeah. Okay. I was getting that way.
This is beating me.
I feel like I have a good feeling about this year. I feel like I think I'm going to make a lot of this year. I think. I feel like maybe I was in a bit of a slump for 2003, but I was 2023. For 2023, I think I was in a slump for a lot of it, but I was kind of also I did a few holidays, and that kind of slowly brought me out of my slump. And now I feel like I'm probably going to do a lot more outdoor stuff, a lot more outdoor activities. Get out of the slump. I need to, really do.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
This has beaten me. This wiring.
I can't see it, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. No. What it is that there's about 7-10, different light sections to go in it.
Right.
And it's very complicated. About 10 of them, and I feel like Jesus Christ. But I have it probably finish in like a month or so. I'm not going to rush this now.
Yeah.
It's beating me.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to. You need to give it a good, maybe concentrate on it a bit more and actually sort of have a chance to try things out a bit.
Well, it's not just that; it's just the lights on it, right? There are it's just all filling. I thought I had enough problems with my Thunderbird too, right? But that was easy to put together. This is like, Jesus Christ,
Yeah, I did see there seemed to be a lot of little wires and all the rest of it, almost if you need a welding kit or something, rather than just a few.
Well, I'm going to say this to Lego. bring out your own lighting kits, which a 5-year-old can put together. That would be great.
Yeah.
This, you know, you need a specialist to put this together.
Mm.
And unfortunately, I'm not a specialist.
Mm.
Oh, God. But anyway, do you think we should start wrapping up in a minute?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's
Yeah, me too.
11:20, and a lot of people have actually probably got back to, as Kelly said, back to the real world tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
Well, I could just talk. Should we talk about what we've got ahead then? What's ahead? We've got the Hunger Games, haven't we? Well, you two have got the Hunger Games, and
well,
yeah. Oh.
See, Alex has got the Hunger Games. We do most of the talking on that one. But,
well, no, we're doing the review, and I'm doing my own review, and then we're doing the discussion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which means I'm going to have to rewatch Mockingjay, both parts. It's a bit of a... it was tough to get through the first time.
What, Mockingjay?
Yeah,
that's the final one, isn't it?
Yeah, I've seen them, but
the final book they did make 2 films out of it. They split it in 2, and I've kind of
they did Harry Potter on it. They
well, that's what the idea was, wasn't it? They did Harry Potter on it.
Yeah, they did the same thing. Is because the books. I mean, with Harry Potter, each book got larger than the last.
Yeah, would he ever kill off Voldemort? Who will survive to the end?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I wonder if Amazon Prime might have it, actually. Because I've got the first 2 films on DVD. I didn't get the third, or the fourth, actually. I just always... Because I just wasn't as thrilled by it. Just a minute. Does it? Okay. Hunger Games. Do they have it? Let's see. Oh, yeah. Hunger Games is free. Oh, they're all free. Well, yeah, they've got all of them to watch free on Prime Video if you've got a Prime subscription. So yeah, I'll probably yeah, it'd be good to I'll have to refresh my... When will that be, by the way?
Hopefully by the beginning of next month.
Cool. All right.
So here's a Lego DeLorean with
Nice.
bloody wires hanging out. Oh,
how many of the lights did you get? Any of the... Which lights have you got done? Like, you got the front lights done, didn't you?
I've got the front lights are done. The side lights are done. It's just the wheels got to be put in. There's got to be the light put inside, also on the back here. Right. Do you want to see the instructions?
Okay.
Hold on, I'll bring up the instructions for a minute. Give me a second.
This is a bit like that Red Dwarf episode where they try to assemble that shower from that Swedish shower.
Yeah.
And they're accidentally creating a time machine that sends it back to...
Yeah, look at it. Look at this, right? You're going through like mad just to get this done. This, that, and you just think, bloody hell. It'll look good once it's done, but I'm gonna bring this in a couple of weeks or something.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't look
easy.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like there's lots of small fiddly bits down.
Too many fiddly bits, I'll tell you. This has really beaten me tonight. You think, oh, I can get this done in 5 minutes, and when they say, oh yes, it's easy to assemble. Yeah, nice one.
The lights come inclusive, or do you have to buy them separately?
Separate light kit.
Okay.
It's a separate light kit.
Okay.
Right. Oh God, Bennett, the joys. And I thought building a Gundam was a nightmare. Well, anyway, I'll probably revisit this in a couple of weeks or something. I'm going to have a break from it. Everyone, I've got a DeLorean. Haha. I've got a Lego DeLorean. And I've been waiting God knows how many years for it. Now, there's one drawback.
What?
Where am I going to put it?
Can you just hover it in the ceiling?
You know how heavy that is?
It's supposed to be anti-grav. Anti-mav, rather.
But at least I've got Marty in the dock. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
I'll find room for it anyway. It's just golden, but it's a bloody nightmare. I really like it. Anyway, yeah. So right, we'll be back beginning of next month. But first, I will do my review for the Hunger Games. Then we will do. Me and Colin will do our Monday night stream as usual. And then we will do the Hunger Games discussion probably about 4 weeks later or something towards the end of March. And then we'll do Blake 7.
Yep.
And then end of March we'll do unless we leave Blake 7 till the end of March, which give us enough time. What do you think?
I seriously need to marathon Blake 7 before I'll be able to contribute it. So yeah.
Okay, end of
The
March.
longer we put it off, the better for me.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, Colin, do you hear music?
Not until you press the button.
Hold on.
Which you haven't yet. No, I do.
Anyway, we'll be back in February or the end of this month, whatever. Thank you to Darku for coming on to the stream.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Also, we'll be back in February. But we'd like to wish you all a happy new year and whatever happens in 2024.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Take care, everyone. Have a good
night.
Month and see you hopefully soon. I'm running out of things to say. Oh, come on, hurry up this time.
You could just push it before the time ends, you know.
Oh, shit.
That music gets louder and louder. I could barely hear what you were saying over it.